Welcome to Frights and Felonies, where history's darkest mysteries and true crime's most chilling tales come to life. I'm your host, James, and tonight we take you back to a time of fear, jazz, and an axe-wielding phantom. The streets of New Orleans in 1980 trembled beneath the shadow of a killer who was never caught, whose legend only grew stronger with time. So turn the lights down, lock your doors, and settle in as we unravel the legend of the Axeman of New Orleans. A city in fear. New Orleans, 1918. The streets hummed with life. Streetcars rattling. The scent of Creole cooking drifting through the thick night air. But something else lurks in the shadows. A figure, unseen, yet feared. Slipping in and out of the humid darkness. Leaving behind crime scenes and cryptic messages. He has no name, only a legend. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries in American history. This is the story of the Axeman of New Orleans. The city was no stranger to crime. But these attacks were different, strange, unsettling, and worse, they were unstoppable. Families began reinforcing their doors, sleeping in shifts, and keeping weapons close by. No one knew who would be next. It didn't take long for rumors to spread. Some believed the Axeman targeted only Italian immigrants, specifically grocers, hinting at some personal vendetta or criminal underworld ties. Others speculated he was just a madman, choosing his victims at random, striking whenever the darkness called him. But the fear, that was universal. Newspapers played into the hysteria, reporting every whisper of a sighting and every unfounded theory. Panic swelled like a fever, gripping the city in a paranoia-fueled frenzy. Was he flesh and bone? A shadow? A demon? The truth, as terrifying as it was, remained unknown. The first strikes. It all began on May 23rd, 1918. Joseph and Catherine Maggio, Italian grocers, were found attacked in their home. Their wounds were severe, and though the scene was chaotic, there were eerie consistencies. A bloodied axe was left behind. But nothing was stolen. A chisel lay near the back door, used to remove a panel, allowing the intruder to slip inside unnoticed. There was no footprints, no witnesses, and no clear motive. Just a chilling mystery. The police scrambled for leads. Had the killer known the Maggios? Was this a robbery gone wrong? But nothing was missing. Not money, not valuables, not even their store's cash register. The only thing left behind was fear. A little over a month later, another Italian grocer, Louis Bessemer, and his mistress, Harriet Lowe, were found in a similar state. Both survived, but barely. Harriet, her face partially paralyzed from the attack, whispered suspicions of a conspiracy before passing away weeks later. Was the Axeman targeting Italian shopkeepers? A vendetta? Or something far more sinister? Despite their injuries, some victims claimed to have caught glimpses of their attacker, an imposing figure dressed in black, vanishing into the night like a specter. But descriptions were vague and inconsistent. The fear, however, was very real. As the months passed, more attacks followed. Each time, a pattern emerged. Doors forcibly entered, axes taken from the victims' own homes, but nothing of value stolen. The randomness was chilling. Was he choosing his victims intentionally? Or was this some twisted game of chance? The Night of Jazz. By 1919, the Axeman was a specter looming over the city. Families locked their doors. Shopkeepers slept with loaded shotguns, but nothing stopped the attacks. Then, on March 13th, 1919, the Times-Picayune received a letter from hell itself.
They have never caught me, and they never will. I am not a human being, but a spirit, a demon from the hottest hell. If you wish to be spared, you will play jazz music, you will play it loud, and you will play it well. For at exactly 12:15 a.m. on Tuesday, I will pass over this city in my infinite mercy, and those who do not have jazz playing will meet my axe.
New Orleans took him seriously. That night, the city was alive with jazz. Every home, every club, every bar had a band playing. The streets were filled with people dancing, not in celebration, but in fear. The night stretched on, and the music never stopped. And the Axeman never struck. The next morning, the city was exhausted but relieved. Had the Axeman truly been appeased by music? Or was it all a cruel trick? A game played by someone reveling in the panic he had just created. Theories and madness. Who was he? A mafia enforcer sending a message? A deranged killer using fear as his weapon? Or something even darker? Some whispered he was supernatural, a demon who thrived on music and mystery, feeding off of the hysteria of an entire city. The attacks continued through 1919, each just as perplexing, each just as inexplicable. Then, in October, he struck for what seemed to be the final time. Mike Pepitone's wife awoke to the sound of an intruder fleeing into the night. She found her husband gravely injured, but no trace of the attacker remained. And then, silence. The Axeman was never heard from again. To this day, no one knows his identity. No suspects, no arrest. Just an unsolved mystery buried in the dark heart of New Orleans history. But sometimes, on a quiet night, when the jazz plays just right, some say you can still feel his presence. History remembers the Axeman as a shadow, an enigma, a ghost. But what if we could hear his thoughts? What if we could see through his eyes? Even for just a moment. What would we find in the mind of the Axeman?
I am the sound in the dark, the breath at your window, the creak in your floorboards when no one is there. They call me a monster, but I'm merely a vessel, an instrument through which fate plays its cruel melody. My hands grip the axe, but the music commands me. I didn't choose them. They were given to me. Names whispered in the hum of the gas lamps. Addresses etched in the patterns of the rain as it snakes down the glass. I see them before I ever set foot in their home. The way they move, the rhythm of their lives, the way the city hums around them. The city breathes in music, and I am simply its sharpest note. Tonight, the song is different. It's dissonant, jagged, a disharmony that needs to be resolved. The house stands before me, the night air thick with the sound of my breathing. I pass through the alley like a shadow, unseen. But the city is watching. The city has always been watching. The door is unlocked, and I slip inside. The silence pressing against my skin like 1,000 unseen hands. The house is still, but the music is already inside. The gramophone hums in the distance. It's the same damn song, but the notes are wrong. They're sharp, harsh. It isn't the song I was given. It isn't mine. I hesitate for a fleeting moment. I wonder what would happen if I just left. If I walked out into the night, disappeared into the fog like a dream, fading before the morning sun. But the music is so fucking loud. It swells and it cracks through the silence, pulling me forward, pushing me towards the stairs. The floor creaks beneath my feet, and I know they're upstairs. The family, warm in their beds, oblivious to the music that has drawn me here. My hand grips the axe tighter. It feels heavier now. The weight of it's no longer just physical. is something else. It's not just a tool I've always known. It's a part of the symphony. Start to climb the stairs. The music is thick in the air, curling around my legs, twining around my chest. The walls are breathing in time with the beat. My heartbeat echoes through my ears, the rhythm of it blending with the sharp notes of the gramophone. It's all one now. It's all connected. My breath quickens. The axe feels like a burden. I can't escape it. I know what comes next. I've done it 1,000 times before. And yet, the thought of it, the thought of what I'll do to them, it grates against my mind. I reach the top of the stairs. The door is ajar. The dim glow of the hallway light spilling in, casting long shadows across the room. The child's soft breathing is like a lullaby. I can almost hear her dreams, their innocent thoughts, untainted by the world outside. But that world is here now. I step forward, my heart pounding in my chest. The air feels so thick it's suffocating. The music swells again, louder this time, clawing at my ears. It's here to stay. It's a part of me now. I pause at the doorway. The family stirs in their sleep, the father's chest rising and falling in rhythm. The music pulls me forward. The axe is even heavier now. It is a burden. It is also an anchor. It holds me here. It has always held me here. I lift it. First strike is always the hardest. First strike is when the music falters, when the world seems to bend in ways it shouldn't. But it doesn't last. The music is too strong. It pulls me back into the rhythm. The axe bites into flesh. I don't feel the weight of it anymore. I don't feel the resistance. It's all part of a song now. The blood, the screams, the silence that follows. And yet, as the music plays on, I hear something else. A voice. A whisper, soft and distant, like a note lost in the wind. It calls me, calls my name. Why? Why do I do this? Why can't I stop? The axe trembles in my hands. The music grows louder. But I cannot stop hearing that voice. I drop to my knees beside the bed, the axe slipping from my grip. The child stirs, but I do not move. I can't move. The music is gone now, replaced by the silence of the room. I look at the family. at their blood-streaked faces, and I wonder, was it ever me holding that axe? Or was I always just the instrument? The voice grows louder. You're nothing. You're nothing without it. I snap my head toward the doorway. The voice isn't just inside my head. It's here. In the room with me. In the walls. In the shadows. It's no longer just the music. It's something else. I reach for the axe, but my fingers tremble. The room spins. The walls are closing in. Play your part. The axe feels lighter now, like it belongs in my hands. The music swells again. The rhythm is stronger, clearer, and I know there's no way out. There was never a way out. The city is waiting. The music is waiting. And I am here, once again, with the axe, with the rhythm, with the song that will never end.
Tonight, we walked the shadowy streets of New Orleans, tracing the bloody footprints of a killer who was never caught. We delved into the history, separating fact from fear. And then we slipped into the mind of madness itself. The Axeman's legend endures, not just in police files and faded newspapers, but in the whispers of those who still feel his presence in the city's darkest corners. Was he a man? A myth? Or something even more terrifying? One thing is certain. The fear he instilled never truly faded. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Frights Felonies for more deep dives into the chilling unknown. Stay safe, keep your doors locked, and maybe, just maybe, let the jazz play a little longer tonight.